And as the trade standoff between the U.S. and the rest of the world continues, we are starting to see signs of a pullback in U.S. demand, particularly on goods from China. CNBC's Larocco is here to explain. Lorianne, it's interesting because just overnight we saw the U.S. retail sales showing some strength in pre-tariffs buying. And here we are, we're talking about a trade coming off globally.
Most definitely. Good morning, Chery. Yeah, what we're seeing here is, so it takes about 7 weeks for goods from China to arrive into the United States and then go back. It's called a vessel string. And we are seeing 80 of these strings, if you will, being canceled. And that's because of the enormous amount of orders that we spoke about last week about being canceled. We've had over 50% of orders ranging from apparel, wool, textiles, accessories, sneakers, all the lower end goods that are not going to be coming in. And this is significant because the trains, the ocean carriers, the warehouses, the trucks, they make their money by transporting these boxes. And so you're looking at over some 500,000 containers that some analysts are anticipating to be cut back in this global trade. So it's going to have a significant impact on the logistics companies. And so, over the next several weeks, we're going to see even more cancellations as we see these pullback in orders. And, until we see some sort of, belly to the bar and having these conversations, we're just going to see this uncertainty and the further pullback in orders. Martin?
Yeah, and Lorianne, what we're basically seeing is friction building up in the whole global trading system, right? But I want you to talk to us about the end game, or one of the end games of President Trump's strategy, which is trying to bring supply chains and manufacturing and jobs sort of back home, right? You've been working hard on a CNBC survey, I know, which shows that that's not really happening simply because it's going to end up being too expensive.
Most definitely. Exactly. We reached out to a multitude of different organizations as well as the shippers out there. And get this, 72% said that if they were going to relocate their supply chains, it would not be in the United States. It would actually, 61% said it'd be more cost effective to go to another country, a lower tariffed country. And it's tariff hopping. They're going to be seeing yes, I'm going to have to suffer some pain by, paying a tariff, but it's going to be lower than staying in China. And so when you're looking at these relocation costs, where it's staffing, products, machinery, insurance, all of these things add up. The United States is quite pricey, and that's the reason why they're looking at other countries as alternatives, looking at Cambodia, Malaysia. I spoke with a company last week from Cambodia. They're looking at Sri Lanka. So it's not even just China. You're looking at this whole rejiggering of the supply chain on a global scale. And so it's going to be interesting to see how this unfolds. But as of right now, the United States is not the top pick.
Tariff hopping, yeah. I mean,
back to you guys.
The only hopping that I know, bar hopping, I guess. But Lorianne, really quickly, because I think the conversation is definitely around automation these days. Because if these companies have to move their manufacturing to the United States, they're saying it won't be really American workers getting their jobs. It's really automation. So we're talking robots, and that is a big narrative that's playing out. So it's not exactly aligned with what President Trump might be looking to achieve.
It's definitely not, Chery. You hit the nail right on the head. I mean, more than double. That's what they were telling me in terms of the cost. And so while there is the argument that automation helps spark like higher paying jobs for those that are there, yes, that is true. I've seen some really cool robots out there in warehousing. But the bottom line is it's not going to add to jobs. And more importantly, looking at this container pullback that we just touched on, a lot of people that I'm talking to are really afraid of a logistics recession and layoffs. You're not going to need truckers. You're not going to need warehouse workers. You're not going to need as many longshoremen if you have this tremendous amount of pullback for the container. So there's a lot coming down the pike from a labor standpoint that we're going to have to look at.